Hello everybody and welcome back to another Magic the Gathering Arena video. Today we are looking at a best of 3 deck. Just to mix things up a little bit. I don't do best of 3 too often, but when we do it properly. And that is what we're doing today with a Dimir deck. Dimir draw this is. So this is kind of focused a little bit around Gix Yawgmoth Praetor, which is the 3 costing 3/3. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, its controller may pay 1 life. If they do, they draw a card, so we draw a card basically, and then I would ignore the other ability for all intents and purposes. So we can draw lots of cards. We then have a few payoffs for drawing cards. Those are number 1, Fairy Vandal. So this is 1 and a blue for a 1/2 Fairy Rogue with Flash and Flying. It's an uncommon. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, put a 1/1 counter on Fairy Vandals. If we can draw one more card in our own turn, that is our second card obviously, because you draw one in your draw phase, and you then get to grow your Fairy Vandals. If we have Fairy Vandal and Gix out, the Fairy Vandal, every time it hits, it will be able to draw a card and it will be able to grow. Obviously it will grow after it does combat damage, so doesn't get the extra damage that turn, but for the following turn. And if you can draw 2 cards in your opponent's turn, this will also trigger, because it is each turn. We have another payoff for drawing many cards, which is the Gixian Puppeteer, which is a 4 costing Phyrexian Warlock, 4/3 rare. Note it is not legendary, so you can have multiple of these out at once. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. And when it dies, return another target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Well, that's convenient, because the other parts of our combo, well not combo, but of our setup are 3 and 2 mana cost creatures. We then have Teferi Temporal Pilgrim, which is the 5 costing Planeswalker from the Brothers' War. Whenever you draw a card, put a loyalty counter on him. So drawing, good. 0, draw a card, -2, create a 2/2 blue spirit, creature dragon with vigilance, and whenever you draw a card, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. So even more synergy for drawing more cards. And then it has a -12 of basically board wipe your opponent one-sided, but we don't get to that too often, but it's not impossible. The rest of the deck really is more ways to facilitate drawing, ways to disrupt our opponents, and then some other couple of very good cards. I should say there is one more sort of benefit to drawing more cards, which is having Sheldred. Obviously when you draw a card you gain 2 life. Gaining life is helpful against things like mono red aggro, but we don't have a direct payoff for gaining life. Gaining life is just gaining life in this deck. We don't have any extra benefit for the gaining life. So, to go through the rest of the deck and why I have chosen those cards, we have 2 of Rona's Vortex. So this is a 1 blue instant, which can be kicked for 2 and a black, so for 3 more, so 4 in total. Return target creature or planeswalker you don't control to its owner's hand. So you can't bounce your own things with this, so you can't save your own things. If it was kicked, put that permanent on the bottom of its owner's library instead, thus basically getting rid of it. It's not in the graveyard, it's not, something that they can redraw easily. So it works very nicely against things like Tenacious Underdog, for example, which if we just kill it, they can just flash it back from their graveyard over and over and over again and irritate us with it. However, if we Vortex it away, that is much better. Similarly, if they have something like the Serra, whatever the 4 costing angel is that lets you play stuff from your graveyard, well, if we put things on the bottom of their library instead, they can't get them back. So it's sort of like an exile effect for blue. Obviously not quite as strong as exile, but very, very close. And obviously it's got the cheap function of just put it back in their hand. So for things like getting rid of tokens, for things like getting rid of things that have lots of counters on it, or even Evolved Sleeper is a nice target for Rona's Vortex, the 1 blue is often enough to deal with those problems for us. The reason that I am running 2 of these instead of, for example, Cut Down, which would be another option, is that we do have Cut Downs in our sideboard. There are 4 of them, but I just feel like the bounce and the ability to permanently remove something pretty much is better for our deck, as we do have other ways to destroy creatures. This is our only way to properly get rid of something, which can be necessary, and it's our only proper interaction for planeswalkers, which again can be necessary. So it's nice to have that as an option in the deck, and that's why I've chosen the Vortex over Cut Down, which I think is the other contender for this spot. We're running 2 Evolved Sleepers, which is fairly well known to everyone from now, but basically it's a black creature that can grow, it can gain Death Touch at 1 point, and also it can draw you cards, which obviously features very nicely in our other draw cards abilities. 4 Fairy Vandals I've covered. We're running 2 Spectral Adversaries. The reason for this really is that it has Flash and Flying and is a 2-drop. So it matches very well with Gix the Yawgmoth Praetor in that it's pretty evasive for a 2-drop creature, because we can wait until the end of our opponent's second turn, or our second turn, or their third turn, sorry, before flashing this in, and thus they really have a limited time with which to interact with it before we can then follow it up with Gix the Yawgmoth Praetor and hit them and draw a replacement card for the adversary. So the Flash and Flying on these really pairs very nicely with Gix, because it allows these cards to effectively immediately replace themselves in your hand. 2 go for the throat, 2 Infernal Grasp. I'm kind of liking the 50-50 split between these at the moment, because more and more people are playing things like the Phyrexian Fleshgorger, or the 3 costing or 6 costing Angel that's an artifact creature, or even Cityscape Levelers we see around, which is the 8 costing thing. It's nice to have answers, but also it's nice to not pay life. So we've gone for 50-50 split. 2 Tainted Indulgence. So this is nice because we do have lots of different mana costs available to us in our deck, so we can get to the 5 or more mana values in our graveyard, but also it's just draw 2 as a base for 2, so it's going to trigger our Fairy Vandals if we play it in our opponent's turn. It's going to trigger the Gixian Puppeteer, so it's a pretty good way of drawing 2 cards. 3 times Kaito Shizuki. Kaito is obviously a great way to draw extra cards, because if we've attacked, which we plan on doing very much with our 6 Flash Flyers, we can then draw without discarding, or alternatively we can create creatures which can't be blocked, which then pair very nicely with Gix the Yawgmoth Praetor as well. We can in theory be drawing 2 a turn for those little blue ninjas, so you know, very very nice there. Kaito's ultimate we're not really too interested in for this deck. And then I am running 2 copies of Gix's Command. The reason for this really is soldiers, and partially mono red, but basically soldiers, because this is a 5 costing sorcery. Choose 2, put 2 1/1 counters on 1 creature, it gains a lifelink until end of turn. That's very nice against mono red and other aggressive strategies. Destroy each creature of power 2 or less is the anti-soldier tactic, really. Return up to 2 creature cards from your graveyard to your hand can be very nice. Our creatures are actually pretty decent and hard to get rid of. Things like Sheldred, things like the Fleshgorger. So being able to bring those back to our hand is actually a nice mode that I actually find myself using quite a lot of the time. Each opponent sacrifices a creature with the highest power among creatures they control. Well, very nice against things like Fleshgorger or other things that have ward, forcing them to be sacrificed. If they've got a load of things with 2 power or less and then 1 big creature, we can just choose both those modes and board wipe them. So this is a nice way of us getting rid of a lot of creatures. It's kind of like, you probably would play Meathook if it wasn't banned in this slot, but we're playing Gix's Command because there is no Meathook, sadly. And then 4 of the Phyrexian Fleshgorger, because this card is brilliant. I actually just, the more I play this, the more I like it. So it mostly fits here in our curve as a 3-drop, 3/3 with Menace and Lifelink and Ward 3 life. But because it has Menace, it's going to get in a lot, so we're going to be able to draw cards with it with the Yawgmoth Praetor. If we do draw cards off it, we're going to gain 3 life back, so we don't care about paying the 1 life to draw cards, which is very nice. That life that we pay off of our flyers can add up, so having some life gain to get that life back is really nice. If we do get to the later game and we ended up playing this for 7, it becomes a 7/5 with all the same qualities. And a 7 life linking thing is a right pain to deal with, especially if it costs them 7 life to target. So the fact that this can fit in either part of the curve is what makes it quite so strong. That is the whole deck really. We're running 25 lands because we're only really running up to 5 mana value, and we do have a lot of draw, so I'm hoping we should be able to find the lands we need. For example, if we can play Tainted Indulgence, we can cycle through and find lands. If we find Gix, if we find Kaito, there's loads of ways for us to draw, so I'm hoping that only running 25 isn't going to bite us too much. In the sideboard, what I am teching to play against really is soldiers / aggressive decks with 4 copies of Cut Down. I'm running 2 Make Disappears and 2 Negates. The negates are kind of for control matchups or ones where we're going to get board wiped by Farewell, and the Make Disappear is kind of for Invoke Despairs, for Gix's Commands, for maybe even go for the Throats on the other team, things that are going to remove our creatures cheaply, or Planeswalkers. So this is where we'll get all these counter packaged to sideboard in. 1 Invoke Despair for the grindier games. This is a contentious spot, to be honest, because of the fact that we're not running overly black land base. This is not necessarily the best thing in the sideboard, but until I think of something else better to put there, we're running one of those. 2 Hearses for graveyard decks, 2 Trespassers for the same thing, but also If the opponent's running lots of spot removal, I will tend to put trespassers in, particularly for maybe the Gixes or the flying things, or even some of these, because these are so much more painful to target with spot removal. 1 times malicious malfunction for basically the Serra Angel decks, but also a couple, you know, if we're running against really low creatures, we can sub this in. And then I've got 1 hostile negotiations. I won't go through this card, but this is there really for the decks, where for the matchups where they're really grindy, or where our opponent's running lots of board wipes, just to be able to restock our hand a little bit outside of our usual ways of doing it. So sometimes it's helpful to have some instants and sorceries to restock with. In fact, I'm going to change this Invoke Despair right now for a Silver Scrutiny, because that is actually what should be in that slot. That is a much better idea, because being able to restock your hand is exactly what Silver Scrutiny does. So, made that small amendment right now. That is the deck. I think because of the way that Dimir sideboards really well, that's why I want to play this as a best of 3, because we really can tailor it to target the creature decks very well. What I could do also is remove some of the counters and play some Duresses in here, possibly. I just want to play test it with this for now and see how we get on. But yeah, we have access to Duress, we have access to counters with the blue, and we have access to Graveyard Hate in plentiful amounts, which is actually relevant in this meta. So let's run into some best of 3 games and see how we get on. Okay, here we go. First match of best of 3. Looks good to me. Got a flyer we can flash in, followed by Gix and a spectator. She's going for a nap, I don't blame you. Right. Come on. That's a nice land. Don't really need much more. Is it mono black? Looks like mono black. Smells like mono black. It is mono black. Got a Vandal. Nicer if they cut down the adversary. Come on, let me go. Let me go. Yeah, adversary cut down. Any removal for the Gix? Probably, right? Yeah. Could save it. Yeah. Why not? Now we're guaranteed to have it at the start of our next turn. And they haven't got their land, which is good. And they still haven't got it. We'll just attack. Bang bang, draw 2. Let's just put Shelley in. Keep piling on the pressure. Mono black can't deal with a build-up of creatures, so this is probably a good game 1. Yeah, plenty to look at. Underdog isn't going to save you though, as you can see in my hand. So if we grasp the underdog, oh no, it's supposed to go for the throat on the underdog so I can grasp the regular. I literally thought the right thing, which is that one of them only targets non-artifacts, and then literally clicked the wrong one. Alright. We'll drag this out a little bit further. Okay. Good. So, what are we against? Lots of instants and sorceries. Black, so we're talking cut down's probably not brilliant. Vortex is better because it gets rid of things like underdog. Grasps are good. These are probably alright. Yes, to be fair, like the main thing that we don't need probably is this. So, what are we doing better with? Maybe Trespassers, or maybe Make Disappears or Negates. Probably Negates for Invoke Despairs. Or Destroys. Small sideboard, but we didn't see a lot, so hard to know exactly what we're against, but the mono blacks never vary that much. Similar start. See a lot of mono black in best of 3 actually. Duress is just going to take the Grasp. And then we can get this in if they're going to underdog. They could hit us with a Bank Buster, which hurts, but c'est la vie. We'll take the pain now, and we'll deal with the results later. Got a Vortex, which is nice. Fine. We've got a bit of life to spend, so... I'm a bit nervous about them just killing off the Shelly. Let's just attack, I think. There is one removal. So I think we can play a Puppeteer now. Since we have 2 of them, and if it dies, we get the Gix back. Invoke Despair would be an interesting question for us to answer. Which creature we sack? Would probably be the Vandal, but close because of the fact we get the Gix back. But I probably can't lose too much life, and the Puppeteer gives us life back. I'm probably going to have to hold for the Vortex next turn. They're still not using their Bank Buster to draw. I still think hitting us with it is the best move, so I think they're probably holding an Invoke Despair. If they're not worried about the cards. Okay, maybe not. So, do we do this and hold open just a weak Vortex? I reckon so. Give them something to deal with. Got to get these last 2 cards out of their hands, so... Alright, only 1 card left. Whatever they attack with, we'll put back in their hand. Just to buy a little bit of time. Then I think we'll play this out for the lifelink. Boom. Keeps getting in for our 2. We're low, but they're getting there. Liliana of the Veil.
No more distractions. Let's make this quick.
We'll sack a smaller Vandal. another one. I'm tempted to do the Puppeteer, because we do get the Gix back.
I've always hated
And at the moment we've got no way to draw, so... And maybe we'll double block that. Okay, good. 2-0 against Mono Black. Mono Black's just a bad version of Dimir at the moment. Let's go again. Next game. Yeah. Yeah, fine. Let's appear to be Mono Blue. Mono Blue's easy, right? Just get him. Just Bant. Don't know if we're going to need all this removal, but oh, what a top deck. Gives us an extra chance to draw some more lands. Grow the Vandal. What a combo. The nice thing is it's so hard to interrupt because they can't get rid of the 2-drop. Well, now they find out about our hand of removal. And find out that they're going to be taking at least 5 damage next turn. And we'll be going back up to 6 cards, please. And we'll just hold open for a destroy, I think. Not that we got any choice. I just mean that was the plan all along. Jump. Wandering Emperor, is it? If I play this, I'll definitely Wandering Emperor and minus on the Gix. Maybe we don't attack with the Gix. Yep. I like hedging my bets against Wandering Emperors, because if if they've got one, you're just losing the thing you care least about, and if they haven't, then you've made them suffer for it. I mean, most of the time they have it, but you've got to play for the times they don't as well. This is like a Baruka's Ascendancy deck. That's what it's starting to look a bit like. Well, they know we can get rid of all this, so... this can go here. Going face would only be 9 damage. We can draw 2 more at least.
I'll be back.
And gain life for the privilege. I think even a Wandering Emperor and we win now. Yeah. Okay, so I think Storms and Denix. Trespasser could be nice, but then Denix does counter it, sort of. But then Wandering Emperors, I think these are good. Let's go for 1 fewer of those and 1 fewer of these. Yeah, got creatures that are above 2 power. This is mostly for soldiers, so we'll get rid of that. We'll add a couple of Make Disappears, remove 1 Vortex, shall we? Yeah. Don't need... Cut down, we don't know. No, this is only really for like really grindy games. And this I don't... oh, we've just gone into the game with 61 cards. I must miscounted a bit there, but... okay, 61 cards against Jump for the second game. It's not the end of the world. Just saw it as I was like entering the game that it still had 61. waiting on your slobber. Can I? Oh, they're just choosing who plays first. I was going to say, can I go back and sideboard? Ay. Not that hard to choose who goes first. Not usually, anyway. There we go. Yeah, this looks good. It's not got the gigs, but might as well play this as we're no secret what colours we are now. Kieran. Maybe they'll attack into a Vandal. Oh, they've got this to be a 2-2 anyway. So we're not interested in blocking their 2-2. Mill themselves a bit more. I don't think they're actually doing anything with the milled cards, to be honest. But that's a nice top, just in case. We can get rid of some creatures, draw some land, gain some life. Okay, maybe this ball is worthy of a Gixx's command, to be fair. Okay. Greeters, and I guess this. I guess in case they're running, I'm not sure what they'd be running to reanimate stuff, to be fair, but you could bounce something, especially if they try and exile the Glutton. They'll probably block the Glutton though. Give something plus. Oh no. That's okay, I reckon. And we'll just bounce this. Might as well keep the Glutton alive while we can, and once we've got loads of land, using this as a spell is a nice thing to be able to do.
Remember your training.
Yeah, you can start emptying graveyards. Fine. Discard. Okay. Is that Catilda? Interesting. Well, I think I'll play. Doubt they're doing anything with that Catilda in the graveyard. We'll play this. Because if they destroy rather than exile, we get the Trespasser back anyway. I think we'll just let that do its thing. Trespasser's going to get exiled, probably. This is probably the card that we need, to be honest. Give them something else to do rather than just lower our life total. Oh, for fuck's sake. Seems to top that, right? Okay, that's Teferi dead, sadly. Wouldn't mind drawing some of our removal. We've got tons and tons and tons of it, so. 2 Vortexes, 2 Go for the Throats, 2 Infernal Grasps. Okay, yeah. Yeah. can always draw more if we have to. We do not have to. So we've got 6 lands. If we draw a land, we can play Flesh Gorger for 7. And we will draw some removal. If they keep stacking it on this one creature, we will find some removal for it. It is only a matter of time. We've got to use this to try and kill off or lower the Elspeth, because otherwise they're going to end up with a load of angels. Yikes. Anything with reach or flying and we're in trouble. Just lands, okay. And finally we've got some removal. Vandal could be exiled by the Emperor, but that is what it is. See if they just try piling through. They keep stacking on this one Kirin. Because they think they can get the win with it, I see. Shouldn't have let them attack then, really, but whoops. I think we're going to be able to make disappear a 10 costing storm at some point in this game. It's amazing how resilient we've been, to be honest. They had a pretty blinding start.
You should be scared.
Do we play this as a 3-3? I don't think so. A lot more fun with it as a 7-5. They're going to keep trying to tick the Elspeth up. We knew that. No, thank you.
May your hand strike true.
Shana. No life gain this turn, thankfully. This is interesting. It's a 6. We can actually take 2 of their creatures out. Not enough to kill off anything though. Slowly chewing through this wall they've created there.
These jobs are getting deadlier.
Okay. Yeah. Get rid of that. And don't let them put the counter on that at all. Finally we can kill off one of their bloody planeswalkers.
Strike fast and strike hard. So much for try not to miss.
So they're going to get their Shana back now and be able to give it flying, which means they're going to be able to draw 5 cards. What a pain in the ass. Crafted identity.
I know what it
Come on. What a top deck. So how have they had so few lands? I guess they've got 2 in the bin. Where was this? Where was this before, you piece of crap? I don't know how to win this. I don't think we do win this. God, I need to kill this thing. So this way, even if they double block the Flesh Gorger, we kill the 4/4 and we gain 7 life, which means we can survive a hit from Shana in the air. Okay. No, we don't.
I won't back down.
Technically not dead. Because we can block Shana, we can block the 17/17.
Show 'em what you got.
Oh no, we can't. Can't block both. GG. Okay. So. The problems here were too much blockers from Kirin's and from those. So let's put one of those in. We just didn't really draw removal, which is slightly annoying, but I reckon we get rid of these. These are brilliant. One Invoke Despair could be fun, and a Negate. Yeah. Taking away from the core of our deck a little bit, but that's what you got to do sometimes. Come on. Ugh. It's a bit rough, but we'll have to keep this. 1 land was bad, 2 lands is also bad, but not as bad. Keep. And do we put Sheldred? No, probably put the Adversary. Right. Here. Don't time out on me now. It was a good first game, good second game. I would very much like to draw a land though, for a good third game. Come on, Jump. There we go. No land that turn. Suppose it was playable. That is the one thing to say for it. Kirin thing. Denick, okay. Yay. Draw. Vandal grows. No land that time, but Shana. No land yet, but let's give ourselves extra chance of drawing it, shall we? Yuck. Come on. Brutal. We put the malfunction in and then they play their 2 creatures that have 3 toughness rather than the rest. Or 3 creatures, sorry. Hey. What they don't want us to have is probably a Sheldred. Or Adversary, yeah, I don't know, maybe. Will they attack with the Denic, I wonder? Yeah. Fairy Vandal doing their thing. Jesus. Flesh Gorger. No attack. Okay, we have a land. So let's just do, let's take it slow and steady. More land. Because the 1/1s we can deal with in 1 hit. Fairy Vandal been dealt with in 1 hit. Let's go for a malicious malfunction. Kill off the Peacekeeper, do we? Yeah. They're down to 1. Better attack with the Gix as well. I suppose we could have won. Ooh. Going to minus on the Sheldred, aren't they? Could counter it. Sack the Gix. Bit of a wild thing to do, but no, because then they can attack with Denic and gain life back. Although they wouldn't do that. Let's do this. So then they have to do something with 2 mana. Yeah. Sweet. Came through against Bant. That last game looked a lot more convincing. Full control. Alright. 3rd game, extra lucky. Ugh. No, not really. Better. We're mono black, mono black. New. Yeah. Let's go for your throat, Denic. Looks like a Legends because of this, rather than Soldiers. Ooh. Maybe just regular old. Oh, I should have attacked first. Got so many mistakes. Regular old Esper, Rafine type deck. Kaito. Let's attack with both. Then I'll probably flash the Vandal in. Well, that's not that helpful.
There's no secret I can't uncover.
Ugh. I hope we're not looking at a Wandering Emperor. Does feel a bit like it though, doesn't it? Wandering Emperor could be quite catastrophic, but let's see. Because all they need is to plus a Wandering Emperor and it'll be pretty bad for us, minus the next turn. Here it comes. Yeah.
Learned much during my study.
Should have plus this turn.
This is what you get for hurting my people.
Should have plussed on that. I mean, it would have given us a card, but
I know something you won't.
where are my Kaitos?
We've got the edge in this fight.
Well, there, I suppose. You have to try and kill the Emperor. Pretty bad news. Been run out of cards, which doesn't happen very often in this deck. Well, we did mulligan, didn't we? And they've just gained, is it 5 cards of Kaito now?
Keep watch for intruders.
Alright, upward battle now. So, Planeswalkers, Uncounterable Destroy, go for the throat. So, Planeswalkers. And one more thing to remove. It's hard to know what the last thing should be. Uncounterable Destroy weakens these very slightly. I wouldn't put the Trespassers in for the same reason. Void Rend, good against Ward. Okay, hopefully we won't have to mulligan this. Is that 1 or 2 mulligans they did then? 2. Gotta hope we draw our third land, because then we can get Kaito down and then we're good. Come on. This is so annoying. but the opponent could struggle as well. They have. Come on, what is going on? Give me the lands, you piece of crap. No, you can't gain life. You can replay it, but... Oh, hello. Oh, good. Magic the Gathering is not responding. There's always that. I mean, about once a video these days, this game's crashing. And not really for a good reason, I would say. Not like anything particularly wild happened there. They just replayed the same card. Second time, murdered the game. Oh, we actually seem to have drawn the land. And now we'll draw all of the lands we need forever, right? Probably not right, but... Okay. Opponent got land screwed as well. Just a little more land screwed than us. Missionary. Do we want cut down instead of vortex? Yeah, let's just change. Let's make that small change. They've got things like Wandering Emperor tokens, wedding announcement tokens. Cut down could be good. Obviously bounce is better against tokens, I just mean with the fact that we know they're playing those Phyrexian missionaries, which bouncing things that have kickers is pretty bad in general. Oh god, that's grim. It's better. Yeah, like that. Black first it is. Give me something to cut down. No. Wedding announcement? Or a fiend. I mean, that is something to cut down. I think we pass. So given this is most likely a Wandering Emperor, I would say we don't play the Gix. Not a Wandering Emperor. Oh, it can't be. No double white. Although this is legendary spells, so yeah, they could be. Can't kill that, unfortunately. I think we probably take this out. Sadly, it means we can't play either of these, but... Ooh, negate from the opponent. Glad I didn't try jamming to Fairy. Vanquish the Horde? Yeah, we're playing a creature deck. That's unusual. Hopefully this resolves. Sacking a Danik? Gosh. Decline then? Okay, it's getting close. Unfortunately, this Rafine is growing. Not this time. No counter from us. So, I think we Teferi Draw.
Faced with tragedy, even absurd other mysteries.
Can even play this. No attack. We'll try and keep Teferi if we can. Can at least block Graphene like this. Okay, figured that could happen, but at least we keep Teferi. And we can kill the Emperor.
Not backing down.
Do we minus or do we plus? Let's well. Let's draw.
Much to consider.
They have to attack Teferi with 5 power now.
Try not to miss.
4/4 Death Touch is half decent as well. I'm hoping that we can get both Flesh Gorgers down as good size. That forces them to discard 2 non-lands as well, if they want to kill Teferi, which they haven't done.
Distractions.
Still a real close match. Okay. Got some good value out of that. Oh, that is nice. Do we stick this? I think we do. It's a chump if we can. Keep Teferi around. It's our only drawing engine. I hope. Oh my god, I was about to say hopefully there's a dried up, but no.
With the right tools, now this.
Nope, nope, nope. So, shall we minus? I think so now. Well, let's see if this resolves first. Got enough to pay for Make Disappear if they don't sack their creature. Have a disdainful stroke. Then let's draw. 'Cause otherwise we're just chumping. God, so many lands. 10 lands in 21. Yeah, we're just over average. So yeah, at least we can still draw, but they can draw too,
Not backing down.
and they aren't drawing lands at the moment.
Thanks.
Only got 7. 8. They've got 8 and 19. No, 12. 9 and 19. God, for God's sake. That's the difference in these games sometimes. Just got to get lucky a little bit. And I would say that's pretty unlucky. 12 in 23 is now over half our cards have been land. Yeah. Managed to draw 3 more cards, but they got 3 in hand and they're drawing an extra 1 each turn and 12 power on board. Probably dead. Alright. Yeah. We lose to Shuffler. GG. Alright. Play against Summer and see if we can get some wins going again. Yeah, we'll keep a 2-lander in the unhand smoothed world that is best of 3. For those who don't know what I mean, in best of 1, Arena is smoothing your hands, so it deals I don't know how many, it's 3 maybe, hands, and then takes the one that has the most balanced number of lands, apparently. Whereas... no. Whereas best of 3 does no such thing. Discard, is it? Curious. Some kind of flicker deck, maybe? Looking at the colours. Nope, just sacrifice fodder. Do our best not to get behind on the lands. Could be forced to discard more, but we've got a lot of drawing capability. That won't work, I'm afraid. Very interesting. I'll decline. Wonder what the plan is behind all this discard nonsense. They're playing that 5-costed enchantment. Painful Quandary, is it called? Maybe. Probably Liliana's in their deck. More Virus Beetles are fine. We can board wipe this next turn, just providing we don't have to discard this, which we may have to now. Rather frustrating. Now comes my removal. We'll keep swinging. Discard is weak, especially against drawing decks like this one. GG. Okay, so I would say we probably want no bounce. We do want cut downs instead. Frightful return. Not really enough reason for a trespasser. One malfunction would be good. Get rid of it. Let's get rid of the go for the throats. Yeah, let's play like this for now, shall we? We need one more card back. Let's go like this for now. I think people will assume that I play Invoke Despair in this deck, and so you tend to get counter spells boarded in against you. It's my general, expectation. Mono black. This is mono black. Black Lotus. There's the non-mono black, but we actually want 2 black lands here. Oops, meant to upgrade that. Never mind. I'll get rid of it because they clearly want it to sack to things. The storefront. Okay. Got a very flexible mana then with 2 towers and then whatever basic you want. You want black. God, these are good, aren't they? How strong is this card, really? That's rather annoying. But they can't let us get in for 6 forever. Playing beetles out of the graveyard will get you somewhere. I feel like this card would be better if there was really good 3-drop. Oh, sorry, 3 mana value cards. Unfortunately, this is 7 mana value. Like, if you run Trespassers, then maybe this is really good, like 4 Trespassers. I mean, Gix is obviously very good, and that is basically the only reason that we can play the Puppeteer, but... we're ditching it again here. Get rid of this so they can't block. Thankfully they can't keep playing it. See if they have removal for Shelley. She's got at least 2 damage in. 3 life back. I do like that combo. Sarah Paragon and these tap lands. I will have to go shortly for that. But first, if we can find some removal for this Paragon. We can't. Let's just swing in. Wandering Emperor.
I am the Emperor of Congo. You will protect my people. You are not much of a roadblock.
Double Flesh Gorger is tough to deal with. Nothing to bring back, but it does present quite good blockers against us.
Remember your training.
Curtains. Can't really attack. Could have sacrificed one of our Flesh Gorgers to kill the Emperor, but it doesn't feel worth it.
We must protect the people.
Transforming it just for the sake of transforming it. Maybe they want to start attacking. Uh, nothing that helpful to bounce, really. Just need some non-land. Feels like almost what would be good in this game is getting rid of the puppeteers and putting in silver scrutinies, but we don't have any in the deck, in the sideboard. But this is a pretty grindy game. So yeah, hostile negotiations could make its first appearance. GG. Can't really overcome this flood, unfortunately. So, hostile negotiations, invoke despair. I think we'll take the other trespasser, knowing that they're running the Sarah and these. So what we won't want those. Take one fewer of those. I like all this because it's grindy. This does exile things, but maybe it's overkill with the trespassers and the hearses. Let's take one hearse, and we'll go with that. Okay. Do need another black source, but there are plenty of them in the deck. Especially need more black now. Good. Let's attack. Shouldn't be able to counter that with one mana open. No, Mnemonic Sphere. I wondered what was holding it open. I guess it's pretty good with Sarah Harrigan. That's rather annoying. So I guess these two are going in the bin next time, but at least we can put the Vandal in after the fact. Does it exile my things? No, just destroy. Exiles itself. Back to trying to draw another land. There we go. Any creatures for the opponent would be nice. Not more Khan Silex. Okay, try and draw some cards while we can. So this is all non-land permanents, so we can't really play anything. Invoke Despair would be nice, but we do only have one of them. Okay, I'll chuck the cut down, and we'll hold, assuming we're going to get Silexed for 3. Can't really see how else it would go. Yep. Can get these back at least with the command. Destroy all other permanents other than 6 lands. Okay, I won't even play this land then. Okay. We pay 2, get a Planeswalker. So it's destroy all other permanents. So we can play this. God, remove it. There we go. Silex after Silex after Silex. Beetle. Alright. Ditch the sleeper, I think. Is he not going to Silex? Maybe. If it was kicked, each player's discards. It was not kicked. Okay. And I think we'll get in for 4. In fact, I could even make it 6 if we do this and this. Now they'll start to get worried. They could destroy one of our lands with their Silex as well now. And we've still got a good 2-drop in there, the Vandal, to pull in when the Puppeteer dies. Unless they exile it with Emperor, then worst case for us. Let's just play this actually. And the hearse. I don't want to give them a free way to get rid of the Flesh Gorger when if we play it for 7 when they don't have a board wipe, it could kill them. Just in case there's any way of getting that back. Emperor. Now it's a tough choice, isn't it? Because unfortunately, if we'd have drawn a land, that was the best choice all day long, but... Yay. It could have been the wrong choice. Can't tap that this turn. Silex Tribal happening here. Liana.
Something suspicious is going on. Otherwise, it's not my fault.
It's a shame.
Haven't you ever heard of
They know they're going to 1. Will they plus the Liliana? probably. And then the Silex will kill Teferi. They want to do a 5, but then they can't do Emperor. Let's do this.
You know, I've always got time. Now that is an interesting.
Okay.
Don't overthink.
One more Silex in the bin.
And I don't know everything about Monomancy.
Sadly can't pay 7. But they're still relying on board wipes to get rid of this now. Or the Emperor, I suppose. No, because as soon as they target it, they lose 3 lives. They cannot target this. This doesn't come in tapped. I did not realise that. So they've got to sack some of their lands. We've already still on 6. I had literally not appreciated that that one does not come in tapped. More Flesh Gorger. They're running out. You can feel it. Let's tap. So they can sack it and some of these and draw lands, but come on, Summer, let it happen. Unless that other card is a board wipe. Nope. GG. I actually thought I was going to lose the Silex Tribal. Thankfully it didn't happen. Show me my rating. There we go, nearly there. Okay, you like stats, I like stats. Let's have a look at some stats. So, we have played 18 matches with this game. Obviously, I only showed 4 on the video. 67% win rate overall. This is in best of 3 and in best of 1. I did have a bunch of losses in best of 1 because I don't think it's a very good best of 1. It's okay, but you probably need to tweak the main deck for best of 1 a little more and may need to include some counter spells in that. We may even ditch the vortexes or the sleepers and put counters in, maybe some spell pierce or something, I don't know. But look at this. I think it's going to be better than 67% if you could just look at the best of 3 stats, but I'm not sure. It's impossible to do that on Untapped, and I think their numbers go a bit funky when you play some best of 3 and some best of 1. But you can see that this is a climber deck. Look at this. We're just going up. It's going to get me pretty much all the way through Diamond. It started at the bottom of Diamond, and we're going all the way up to nearly Diamond 1 already. And we've not even played that many matches because it's best of 3. You climb quickly with it. I would say this deck is reliable and fun, and that is what makes a good climbing deck in my opinion. In terms of the things we do well and against and the things we don't, black is a good one to do well against because we can sideboard in the counters, we can stop the Invoke Despairs, we can make sure that we've got the right removal for if they're Sheldred heavy, we can make sure we've got the removal for that. If they are removal heavy, we can counter, we can do whatever we need to do against black. White, blue, yeah, maybe as soldiers, we should do well against that. We've got heavy sideboard. I think it's hard to tell if these are soldiers or control. Good against red, that is no surprise. Good against Bant is no surprise. And losing in mono blue was rough. I did lose a best of 3 against mono blue, which felt awful because best of 3 mono blue isn't that great, but I just flooded out, and there's not a lot you can do when you flood out. In 2 games, you just lose. So anyway, I think it's a really good deck. It's one of the better decks that I've made in a while, especially for best of 3. So please do give it a go. Give it a go. Let me know how you find it. For me, this is actually a lot of fun. It's probably even more fun than it looks to play because drawing lots of cards and getting to explore lots of your own deck is just fun. That's what I would have to say about that. So thank you very, very much for watching. We're about to have the release of the new alchemy cards, at which point what I will probably do is try to do a quick video on the economy I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the full thing done in time for using, if you want to call it that, or applying to this release, but I'll at least get some ideas going, get some tips and tricks started, and then I'll try and do a full thing ready for the next standard release. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate everyone who watches it. It makes my day when I see my regular subscribers watching the video. It does give me a bit of joy. So thank you all very, very much, and I will see you next time.